touch harmonics, whammy bar tricks, tapping, fast picking and a screaming bend, all in under 45 seconds. It's not to like. Hi, it's Jeff Sinker from Skype Guitar Lessons Online, teaching you songs and musical ideas in a style that is easy to follow and understand. Crazy Crazy Nights was released as a single back in 1987, and it was a huge success in the UK. In fact, this was the highest charted single ever for Kiss in the UK. The solo was performed by Bruce Kulick. No Ace Frehley on this, because remember, this is the time when Kiss was like me, no makeup. And it carries all of the trademark licks of the 80s rock genre. Now, I did previously cover the main parts of the song quite some years ago, and I'll put the link down below for you on that. But as was pointed out by one of my subscribers, Jamie, I never did the solo. So, thank you, Jamie, for reminding me. It is a great solo. I'm glad you did. Big thumbs up for that one. Before we get into the lesson, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel and don't forget to like the video. It really does help me, and it really helps the channel grow so I can make more and more lessons like this one here. Well, I'm going to move on from the plugs. Let's get into it and let me show you how to play the solo Crazy Crazy Nights. Right, let's look at the first part of the solo, which involves touch harmonics and some whammy bar techniques, and it goes like this. Right, touched harmonics. What we're playing, we are looking on the G string. All of this is being played down the G string. We are going to do a touched harmonic on the 12th fret. Where we do that, we are just going to lightly touch the string. And then just as soon as we make contact with the string with the pick, we immediately get the finger off. So we would get this. Now, we're going to hit that twice. Then with the whammy bar, we get a... We're just going to pulse that down. If we think of the count, da, 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 we're going to mimic that count, so we get this. You can do it a little bit more. I tend to kind of favour, I know Bruce is doing a little bit more on this than I'm doing it, but my whammy bar is really sensitive on this guitar. So I'm kind of cutting it back a little bit, but as you're playing it, you can get a little bit more into it if you want. Actually, that didn't sound too bad, did it? Anyway, we're going to take the 12, we hit that twice. Then we're going to move down to the 7th fret. We do the same thing, 2 on them. And then the final one, this is always a tricky one to get, is on the 5th fret. And we're just going to do that once. And right at the end now, it's going to kill off on here because I'm playing this slower. But as I've done that last one, you're just going to drop it down. So we just do a little bit of a dive bomb. And then I'm cutting it off because we go into the next part of the riff. But that is the intro. It sounds pretty cool. To play that. Next part. This is coming out of the dive bomb. We're going to play this. All I'm doing there, again on the G string, I am doing a 4th fret and then hammering onto the 5, back off to the 4, back onto the 5. So we get... And sliding up to the 7th fret. Now, first finger is important because the next part of the riff, if we don't move it on the first finger, you're going to find yourself short of fingers. So we're just going to... Next part, with just a simple little lick with a bend. Now, the next part is where we start to do the tapping. So we've got this line which we're doing, which is a 7 on the G string, across to the D9, back to the 7 on the G, onto the 9 on the G with a full tone bend. Now what we're going to do, we're going to do a series of taps on the 12th fret on the G on top of the bend. So I'm going to be tapping that. I think you're doing it about 3 times. And then we come out of the bend. It sounds terrible when you're playing at the slower speed. You can hear everything else coming out. Release. And do a pull off back to the 7. So we tap. Like that. Now we're going to move into a series of kind of adjusted positions through the pentatonic scale that we're working through. So this line goes like this. So I start off, I am on the 14th fret, I'm holding down the 14th fret with my third finger. I'm going to do a full tone bend on that note. So, and then I'm going to, with my little finger, play the 15 on the B. Then I go back onto the bend, I do another bend. Kind of very bluesy type of lick. That's the easy part. Now we have this line here where we are going to work from 14 to 16 on the G string. Cross over to the 15. Then we do a 17. Back to the 15. Then we're going to move on to the 16 on the G string. Back to the 15. To the 17. And slide up to the 20. Oh. And the phrasing there, it's going as a kind of quick. Yeah, that's almost da 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 da. Okay, the next lick is very similar in its phrasing that we do, and we're just playing it higher up in the scale. So we get this. See, very, very similar in its feel. And then. Now that's important when you play it because you've got to keep them two sectional. So that final one that we're doing there is 17, 19, 17 to the 20 on the B string, and then 17, 19, 20 on the high E string with a full bend then on the 20. So we get on that full tone bend. So next part we're going to get into now is where we have got this rundown into a very, very fast picking finale on this. Goes like this. What I'm doing there, I'm playing 20, 19. Then I've got a 17, 19, 17 quick pull to the 20 on the B string. Then I do a 17, 19, 20. Now, the final part of the riff. This is the very quick, fast picking. Now, you can pick. You can also use pull-offs and hammer-ons on this as well, depending on your picking speed is when you're doing it. Because we have a line like this. What I'm doing there, I'm doing a 17, 19, 20, then back down. So we get cross to the 20 on the B string, and then we start all over again. And we're going to play that 4 times in its entirety. So we get. Now the final one just does a 17, 19, 20 with full tone bend. And we hold that, taking us out of the solo. So this one, It's just a case, when you're working on this, try and get that whole movement of doing. Let me do that counting. Now, I've been doing that all as hammer-ons and pick hammer-ons, pull-offs and that. You can try and pick as many as you want. Now, that's me using the picking, but I would say when I'm doing that, I'm still seeing it as still using the hammer-on or the pull-offs, but I'm using the pick to keep the timing, because you get this triplety, triplety, triplety. So it's two sets of triplets. Triplety, 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 triplety. That's where you're getting that count from. Probably the hardest part of the track. If you get some of the notes slightly wrong, it's not a big deal because it's so fast. I'm sure you agree with that. But first of all, and for your own playing skills, is get used to. Just trying to work up, start off a slow spade. Slow spade? Where's a spade come from? Start off at a slow speed. So what I would do on that, I would just start it off as a nice slow speed. And then work it up to a fast one. And that last bend, give that a nice screaming finish. Go that. Like that. So there are all of the sections put together. It's a fun lick. Bruce really did do an impressive solo on this. Each section, take your time, work through it. I do have a backing track that's available, the link below, so you can practice playing along through the solo section. But I am sure you will agree. It's a short solo, less than 45 seconds, but it really does pack all these different licks in one after the other. Well, I'm going to let you go, get into this and really enjoy yourself. So until the next time, this is Jeff wishing you well, and I'll speak to you again real soon. Goodbye.